It's truly an honor to be recognized amongst these other incredible alumni. What they've accomplished is really inspiring. But the real reason we're all here, the reason we all wanted to come back and celebrate the 50th of our elementary school, isn't because of specific accomplishments we've made in our lives. We came back because we recognize the impact this school has made on who we've become. And I don't mean what we do for a living, I mean on who we've become as human beings. How our values and outlook on the world have been shaped by and reflect the values of Seattle Country Day. To have the sort of impact that brings people back to a grade school reunion is testament not just to the vision that was created 50 years ago by Lucille Beckman and the founding families and community members, but it's a testament to how deeply this vision is believed and embodied by every member of the school's staff. Without this unity and consistency of message, a vision will never become a movement. And so tonight, I'd like all of you to join me in thanking the teachers and staff that are the real reason we're all here. I always knew that what we had at SCDS was special, but it wasn't until I had a daughter of my own that I realized how truly necessary schools like SCDS are for these kids. To feed the mind while still letting the kids be kids. You hear a lot about the inquiry-based model used at SCDS, and I think we'd all agree that this is a key and lasting impression of our years here. But I think that just describing the model as promoting inquiry is selling it short. Doesn't fully describe the special sauce that we have at SCDS. For me, it's not just the promotion of inquiry, but what I call the 3 C's that every student graduates with: curiosity, creativity, and confidence. Curiosity is the inquiry piece, encouraging students' natural curiosity about the world, making it cool to wonder out loud and engage in investigations with your friends and teachers. Holding at bay the pressure from society to stifle that curiosity. Act like you already know. Creativity is a word that seems to be just recently getting the rightful recognition that it deserves. For too long, we've reserved this word to refer to artistic expression. The writer is considered creative, but the term is rarely applied to the mathematician. But creativity is really the next logical step from curiosity. Being curious about the world and asking questions and exploring why things work the way they do is important, but insufficient to lead to change. What is key to progress and innovation is applying those investigative, logical skills together with what you've learned to create something new. I think where many people get hung up on this idea of creativity or innovation is feeling like it only applies to some monumental leap, creating something the world has never come close to imagining before. But this is rarely what creativity and innovation feel like. Creativity is as simple as taking what you already know, shifting your perspective, and asking a single question. That's it. And so, when it comes to pass, it tends not to feel that much like innovation to the person with the idea, despite the impact it could have on those around you. At the heart of this is defining your question. You have to find that most base question you're trying to answer. Too often the questions we ask are loaded with preconceptions and assumptions, and we never realize that we've put barriers on ourselves that need not be there. When you can do this, the possibility space opens up, and a greater variety of solutions are readily apparent. With the encouragement of curiosity, then, comes practice in asking questions. With the study of science and the scientific method comes the learning of deeper layers of investigation. And when those 2 pieces come together, creativity and innovation are the product. Through projects that encourage this process and the time to delve deeply along single lines of inquiry, students at SCDS practice creativity every day. And finally, confidence. Students leave SCDS not just with a confidence in what they already know, but a confidence in who they are. When you experience an education based on your own investigations, you create a very distinct expectation of what you should see in all future interactions, both within education and the world as a whole. This confidence makes students leaving SCDS powerful advocates for themselves and those around them. When you don't have an inquiry-based model, education becomes something that is done to you, rather than an organic investigation and journey that you can lead. This removes the student's responsibility for learning and understanding and removes the relevance of education, thus decreasing engagement. When learning is something that is done to you, there's no motivation for originality or risk-taking, and all learning takes on a black and white, right or wrong tone. When you have no responsibility or control over yourself, it's difficult to develop confidence. Risk-taking is important to future success. Learning that it's okay to fail, it's okay to take the longer path, this is important for our kids, especially if they tend to be a perfectionist, like many of our students are. Many of us are. As we like to say in my industry of government contracts, you get what you incentivize. And if schooling incentivizes memorizing the single right answer as opposed to the process of discovery, and sometimes failure along the way, the results of living in the real and uncertain world, where failures will happen, can be devastating. Not only is this important for the individual student, but teaching children in a manner that makes the world seem black and white, and failing to show them that we live in the gray area with every situation involving nuance, this has implications on society in general. If we are to operate well in a global economy where most of our interactions will include a plurality of cultures and belief systems, then we need to be comfortable living in this gray area to create a more inclusive society. And that's what SCDS does. All of this and more is how SCDS has shaped me and every other alumni here. This is the legacy that SCDS students bring to the world. I'm lucky enough to work in a field where I get to practice inquiry every day and build one-of-a-kind inventions with an amazing group of other intelligent people who love to solve problems. I got here by following that inquiry theme. I got a degree in physics, which really is just a degree in problem solving. So it's what we already did here. And it's far more than the proofs and bad jokes we learned in Dr. Goldberg's math class. The current events we studied with Miss Lowry, that a turtle actually looks like a little triangle that we learned with Miss Lewis, or that each of us is a clam, a fish ladder, and a leaky hose from Doco. The real lessons that stand out to me are these. From Dr. Goldberg, that subjects like math can be fun and beautiful in their purity, and that there are basic and simple rules that govern how the world works. From Miss Lewis, that technology is an accessible tool to everyone and should be used to make our lives easier. From Doco, that complex ideas can always be communicated in simple, accessible, and engaging ways, and that passion is contagious. And from Miss Lowry, the study of fallacies and how to construct a logical and sound argument, how to recognize limitations in the arguments of others, and the recognition that an individual's perspective is shaped by their own vantage point and history, with all the insight and limitations that may provide. Thank you.